Agent comes. Maybe there's one.
So then
Well,
I put
good
that
morning,
in the
Michelle. How are you?
Thank you.
and then promoted it.
Yeah.
Facebook blocked it. Blocked myself. But because it's new and it had more than 20% rating on it.
Close the
Hey,
So one guy had
it's
a
a
fixed
lot.
one, he's like, here, use this, or by the time. I just think there's a lot of room for problems.
Yes.
Okay,
Thank
thank
you.
you. I'm
So
just making sure.
Hopefully it's good stuff.
Sign paperwork, so yeah.
Oh, that's good. Well, good morning, everybody. How are you?
Good morning.
Good. Thanks for being here. Thanks for putting up with team meetings being on Wednesdays for the next few weeks. Due to cold, I greatly appreciate it. We got a lot to go over today. I'm going to start off by reviewing what's coming up on the calendar. So again, Bold's going to be going on every Tuesday for the next few Tuesdays. Let's see, there's a baby shower taking place after our team meeting today. Feel free to hop in on that. Surprising amount of little ones being welcomed into our Keller Williams family, which is pretty nuts. Aaron's also expecting, by the way. Just kidding.
Really?
ALC meeting is going to take place. Hey, how are you? Today from 12:30 to 1:30 right here. Just a reminder, thank you so much, I appreciate it. Just a reminder that Wynwood Cellars is taking place tomorrow in Bloomington. That's with Gene Rivers. It's all about getting listings. If you decide to come along, you'll be joining Megan, Cindy, Nick, Todd, myself, and maybe 2 or 3 other folks that are looking to sign up. You can still register today if you'd like to go. It's about $100. We'd love to see you up there if you can make it.
I'll give a kudos to that. I've been there twice. I think
He's
the
awesome,
Wynwood buyers and Wynwood sellers, they're both awesome
Well, good job.
training.
Yeah, appreciate it. We'd love to see you up there. Later today, also tomorrow, Mel's going to teach a workshop on the White Pages profile. So on the back end of Keller Williams, everybody has a profile. You can go in and you can either maximize that or you can just kind of leave it and not mess with it too much. It would be very advantageous for you to go in, fill it out, connect it to everything that you have, provide information in a bio, etc. If you want to learn how to do that, she'll show you in a workshop how you can maximize filling out your White Pages profile. Again, that's tomorrow from 11 to 12:30. On the 13th, Katie's going to go over creating commission statements and green sheets, if that's something that you would like to go over and learn a little bit more about. The 16th, every Monday, really, the CGI call and huddle takes place in here. On the 18th, I'm going to be teaching about earning passive income through profit share from 11 to 12 p.m. right here. Mel's also going to teach a workshop on the 19th about the KW app, your home search app, and how to utilize that, implement it, and activate it. And that's going to be from 11 to 12:30. And then Katie's going to teach a class on the lore, language of real estate, and how it relates to your specific business and your numbers. That's going to be from 11 to 12 on the 20th. This was just updated to all the calendars. On Monday, the 23rd, we're having some free CE classes offered here in the Market Center. There'll be 3.5 hours of CE credits. Lunch will be provided, and it's going to be put on by a representative from the Minnesota Department of Health. They're going to talk about radon, mold, carbon monoxide. 10:30 to 1 p.m. It's open to all of our agents and any agents that you'd like to invite, regardless of whatever company they're with. Everybody loves and needs some CE. Well, I should say everybody needs some CE. I don't know how much we love it. Okay, our next team meeting will be on the 25th right here at 11 a.m. Jim Clark's also going to have a broker Q&A from 12:30 to 1:30. Bring your questions, thoughts, if you have tricky things going on with deals to that Q&A session, or just stuff that you've run into before or have questions about, no problem. He'll be there to answer them for you and kind of walk you through some of the stuff that you might be dealing with or running into. The 26th, there will be a lunch and learn presented by 2 Men in a Truck. RSVP before the 20th, please. And then the Little Bit Better cleanup will take place on the 26th as well from 1 to 3. So please dress appropriately and be prepared to go out, pitch in, clean up a little bit. And then a class on dot loop from 11 to 12. If you're having struggles with your paperwork, incident, dot loop, signatures, all that kind of fun stuff, please come to that on the 27th. Katie, who is the master of that stuff, good morning, Sally, how are you? Is going to be teaching that, and it would be I highly recommend you get in on it. Okay, anything that I missed or anything else coming up in the month that I should be aware of and that we should announce for the order? Nothing.
Thursday, the 19th, 7 p.m. investor discussion group.
Awesome. That takes place here?
That takes place right here.
Cool. What time?
7 p.m.
Just want to give a quick 20-second commercial as to what typically goes on at one of those meetings.
We talk about all kinds kinds of things associated with investment property, from finding it to tenant problems to finding service providers, and
Cool.
I usually have some kind of side topic up my sleeve in case the conversation falls flat. That people bring their questions, their successes, their.
Investors are known to be an exciting group of people. I'm just teasing. Thanks, Melissa, I appreciate it. Is that open to anybody? And
Open to anybody, if you've got a
Cool.
client or somebody who,
what
is interested.
Or you just wanna learn?
Or if you just wanna learn, yeah, yeah. Most of the attendees are pretty new to investing.
Cool.
Like looking for a property or have one or two.
Okay.
Yeah, it's the third Thursday of the month, every month
Question.
here at 7 o'clock.
Awesome. Sally, anything you'd like to mention from a lender's perspective or corner? I know I put you on the spot.
No, that's great, actually. Yeah, Amic actually just rolled something out on Friday to be way more competitive with other lenders, because we do have some credit unions in town that they're really good, and their interest, everything, it's hard to compete with them. So the owner, Todd, has rolled something out where our comp plans can be flexible. So it really doesn't matter how good it is, we can match it. We've always been able to match, to a certain extent, but now we can always match, which is awesome. So that's super exciting. Also, Minnesota Housing has changed some of their stuff. So they have bigger down payment loans, and first-time home buyers, they never used to be able to use a step-up program, which has higher income. So if you don't qualify for the first time, the first one, you can actually go up to the step-up, which is a higher income. So it makes it a lot more people qualify.
Which before it used to be that actually excluded a lot of people, right?
It did exclude a lot of people. There's like a $35,000 income difference between startup and step up. So if people from startup can use the step up now, because there's been a lot of people that couldn't do, their incomes were too high, but they don't have the down payment. They need it. They need that help. So it's going to get a lot more people in the door.
Cool.
So
What have rates done so far this year? Do you know
Oh, they went way up, and now they've came down a little bit. They're not nearly as low.
how much is we?
I've seen them up to 5. Now, some of the best pricing I'm seeing is about 4.5 on a conventional. So definitely, they're projected to continue to go up. I guess one final thing that Amic is doing is people can lock before they buy a property now to keep a lower rate. And also, they can lock right away, and if the interest rate drops within that time, 1/4 of a point, we'll relock it less
Oh, wow.
for no cost.
That's kind of cool.
So that's kind of a cool thing too.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Thanks very much. Appreciate
You're
it.
very welcome.
Okay, so I want to run through a quick market update. We are into April, so we have numbers from March. So I'm going to go through it very quickly, and we'll look at what's going on across all of southeast Minnesota. Then we'll look at what's going on here in Rochester. All right, so first, all of southeast Minnesota. These are when we're comparing year-to-date 2018 up until the end of March to 2017 all the way to the end of March. Absorption rate is down 9.3%. We're from 2.25 to almost 2 on the dot. So absorption rate, we have about 2 months worth of inventory, which again is pretty darn limited. We talked about how it was limited last year. Okay, now so far we're down 10%. So don't worry, I've got some other info to share that helps you feel a little bit better about what's coming down the pipeline. Median list price for all of southeast Minnesota is up. It's up to 210,000 as compared to 184.9 this time in 2017. Median list price is up 13.5%.
Morning.
Median sale price is up. It's 179.9 compared to 164.9 last year. Median sale price is up just a tad over 9%. So, like to me, when I think about all of southeast Minnesota, I always view Rochester as a little bit of an outlier because we know the average list and sale price here is what compared to the rest of southeast Minnesota?
Higher.
A little bit higher, right? Well, here's the deal. Median list price throughout all of southeast Minnesota as of end of March 2018 was over 200,000. That's pretty eye-opening to me. I don't know, what your thoughts are on that, but it's pretty interesting. Median days on market down about 10.5%, 42. Again, that's all of southeast Minnesota. Sold listings down 7.5%. Pending listings down 3.6%, active listings down 10%, and new listings down 10%. So again, yep, we're still seeing that shortage of inventory. But interestingly enough, and here's what you can tell buyers, they're feeling the stress. And you can tell some sellers right now who are thinking, should we list now or a month from now? From right now, from here moving forward until September, if we do what we did last year, each month we'll see more and more active listings. So between where we are right here today and September, we will see inventory increase. That's just historically what has happened. And then once we get through September, what's it going to do? It's going to start decreasing again, right? So if you've got buyers out there right now that are feeling stressed, they're freaking out, you know, they've lost out on multiple stuff. Hey, here's the deal. Over the next few months, we're going to see some more inventory. There's going to be more options. There's some hope for you, right? If you've got a seller that's on the fence saying, maybe we'll list in June or July, well, guess what? June or July, you're going to have a little bit more competition. So it might behoove you to list right now. And just to give you a feel for inventory levels and what you're feeling right now, the next time, based on what we did historically last year, the next time we're going to be at inventory where it is right now will likely be in November. Right, so keep that in mind. What you're feeling right now at the end of March and heading into April is going to be what you feel again come November. It's going to keep going down until we hit April again. Does that make sense? So just remind yourself what you're feeling right now, market conditions wise, will be exactly what we're feeling again come November, December, and help prep your buyers for that as well. That's true for both all of Southeast Minnesota and Rochester. Okay, Rochester specific statistics. Absorption rate. Down 2%. It's at about 1.5. Median list price, $279.9 compared to $244.9, or up 14.29%. Median sale price, $226.5, up from $205, or up 10.5% for the year so far compared to last year. Median days on market, no change, 25. Sold listings. Hey, sold listings are only down 0.5% in Rochester. So far, or excuse me, it's up 0.5%. So far, 390 homes have sold in 2018 compared to at this time last year in 2017, 388. So congratulations, we sold 2 more houses so far this year compared to last year. Pending listings down 10%, active listings down 5%, and new listings also down 5%. But again, we talked about how between now in September, we're going to steadily see an increase in inventory. So we'll likely see some of those numbers continue to increase. Any questions on that? Yes. What do you have there, Jim? What was the answer? Yes, what meeting did I just walk into? Questions, thoughts, takeaways on what's going on in the market? Is it all bad news? No, raise your hand if you've had some deals coming together first quarter. Good job. I talked to Jennifer Walsh over the weekend. She said, Zach, I don't know what's going on. I put 4 deals together. That's awesome. Keep it up. So the deals are out there. Get with your buyers, get with your sellers, and make it happen. And here's proof that you guys are making it happen. These are our office-specific numbers as of the end of March. So closed units, CMAR, or our association, our MLS, March 2017 versus March 2018, closed units were down 7.32%. Keller Williams, you guys are up 9.3%. You're outperforming the MLS by 16.62%. That's pretty phenomenal. Closed sales volume, the MLS is down just over 0.5%. You guys are up almost 22% for a total difference of 22.5% outperforming the market. Listings taken, MLS down 12.3%. You guys are up listings taken 17.4%. You're outperforming the MLS by almost 30% during quarter 1, ladies and gentlemen, which is traditionally our toughest quarter. Listings taken volume, MLS is up 3.5%. You guys are up almost 8%. You're outperforming the industry by almost 5% in listing volume taken. So congratulations, guys. That deserves a round of applause for. I don't know if I didn't emphasize it enough or not. I learned in Bold yesterday that body language is a majority of what we convey in our communication, but the tone is the second most important thing. So let me say it again. In closed volume, you guys are outperforming the market 22.5%, and in listings taken, you guys are outperforming the market by 30%. 50%. That's huge.
Woo!
There we go. That's what I'm looking for. Nice. We'll share this with you guys as well. Take this to your listing appointments. Take this to your buyer consultations. This is a reason that people should be working with you, right? You guys are outperforming the industry hands down. I know that we're such a high achieving company and goal oriented that we sometimes forget just how good we're doing. So congratulations, guys. You guys are crushing it. So what I want to do is talk a little bit about habits, your ideal calendar, and a 2018 growth plan. And I would like to do it in groups so you guys can brainstorm with each other and kind of mastermind with each other. So I'm going to put you into 3 different groups. We're going to go through a couple of exercises, and then we're going to come back and collaborate. And I want to hear what exactly it is that you guys came up with. Sometimes I feel it's better to do these exercises in groups because you get ideas from other people and what they're going to do in terms of their growth plan and things of that nature. So I'll probably have to turn off a few more. I'll grab them in just a minute, but I'll hand out what I have for right now. Everybody's, and excuse my notes, these are literally the copies I pulled out of my bullet journal. So everybody's going to get a copy of this, and I'd like you to sit down and critically think about and talk about your growth plan for 2018 and what you'd like it to look like for the remainder of the year, what you plan to put on there, reading books, going to events, going to certain trainings, etc. Bounce ideas off of each other, then we'll share as a group. So that's coming up with your growth plan for 2018. You're going to be lucky to get these first copies. This next one is a daily habits tracking log. So if there's a habit that you'd like to form in the near future, especially sometime this year, brainstorm. What are maybe 2 or 3 habits that you'd like to create in 2018? And we'll talk about this habit tracking journal and what it's designed to do in terms of helping you achieve that habit. So you write down what your habit is in this box right here, and then here you would put a check mark by each of the days that you do the thing that's consistent with you achieving your habit, right? So I'm going to pass this. I'll pass these out too, and you guys can brainstorm. You guys, they don't have to look the same in your groups. This is specific to you, but you might be bouncing ideas off of each other. And the last one is it's a weekly schedule. So the idea behind this is what I'd like you to do is for you to fill out and time block what your ideal week would look like. Not what your neighbors would be, but what your true ideal. And this is a no judgment thing. If it includes you getting up at 11 a.m., I'm okay with that. I'm just kidding. I am okay with it, but what you ideally would like to be doing on a day-to-day basis in your business and personal life. That's what the purpose of this is. And then we'll have some discussion. Sound good? All right. Any questions about that? I'm going to pass these out. Print off a few more. Put you into groups. Please take one and pass one to the end. I think you already stole one earlier. Sounds about right. Just kidding. So we'll do U4 in a group right here, U4 in a group right here, and then Carrie and U3 right here, and then U4 right here. Any questions? I'll go print off a few more and I'll be right back. Michelle, can I steal this real quick?
Yes, you can.
Thank you.
I like it. So you can let your life go out. All bets are off. She is her own broker, running out of time here.
It has been already, and I didn't know I did it. And I so, yeah.
You'll get into it.
Yeah.
I'm good with it.
I first heard it in like
That's where I
It's a learning experience, and those seem like the wonderful ones because
They kind of
Say
tried
it
to.
to your client.
Sometimes that's how it's.
Next year.
Okay, what do I want?
Oh, go back.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know if it's good, like,
Who still needs copies?
I need to look like stocking, but you get in that door.
You have it, I got it.
Oh, yeah.
Nice can.
Yeah, it's Brenda.
Anybody else?
Thank you.
So did you hire?
Anyway, well, yeah, you all read up turkey.
You guys all good? You have copies of everything? Yep. You guys scared Sally away already?
One of the multiple offers. I think we're good. Thank you. You are.
Okay.
Oh, no,
Like 5, 6, 7 a.m. you still don't exist.
Well, that goes.
I'm an introvert, it does better depending on.
Anyway, Zach, where should we start? Should we do growth plan or?
So you guys, so you guys.
Idea start with daily plan.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah, but I, so.
You know, but that'll learn it, and then
Everybody just has to go.
And,
I got some great ideas. Okay. Hey, Lori's gonna join you guys. If you would like to share.
I mean, I last night
Getting up.
But I think Wednesday,
So I think. About here and then, like, morning person.
That's what I- and then
It's like, oh, I was down and then I'll follow up for work.
You have the boiler. I don't have them yet.
You've been in the industry for a long time.
No, it doesn't.
Okay, so
I know this is
Perfect. Already got one.
I guess that's my question, because then. You got it.
Read a book. And,
Yeah.
I really want to check
Clean and house, yeah. Yeah. It's just changing this, requiring.
Girls band, what do you got? You got one like thing that you're thinking, don't in the news this year or?
Whatever.
So.
Okay, so
yeah, so I have a
daily planning.
You know,
They need to be interested in crazy, you know, I mean,
it's just like how we're supposed to do with
I got
clients,
to
something that's crazy simple for them. We need to have the simple, you know, even if it's
checking that, whatever, and I have to
living in the park or walking, you know, that might be a really good, write that one down, that's a good idea. So, yeah,
one
thing that I haven't even
done.
And this combination means I might actually walk another week. Because if you're into something, you might go a little further to kind of finish what you're hearing. Yep.
And I just made one of those calls to a gal that's in my will, and I'm like, gosh, my equity. Like, really, how much? I'm like, oh, come on, that didn't want to. I'm taking how we just. And I'm like, I honestly was sitting here thinking of doing all I did, all that I know, how much, you're right in the back. And you're one of them, but sign us up, you know, get it all right. And I'm like, great. And it's just because I was so that's the kind of mindset I need to go through with my phone with, you know, go through your changes, you know, do a bold answer, I'm like, or say, okay, well, I'm literally just gonna start all these conversations. And you're really and
Oh, I love that. That was, I remember when that was going up and going back there and looking at houses.
right, exactly. Like,
Well, you go back down in there and it's got the big and then it goes back up into
What's yours? What else you got?
What else you have? I'm the newbie son.
Okay, is it, actually they're doing property, or whatever, classes,
Well, I don't know, I saw signs of land for sale.
Is it kind of, does it kind of have a, is it kind of a professional, commercial grade design?
Yeah.
Okay, that's to be getting updated. What's his name?
But the template kind of stays the same, so you just got.
Okay, so he's like a multi-billionaire, and I've been in contact with him for 2 years, but if you say that, I'm getting for 2 years.
Okay.
He just thinks he knows better than me, better than anybody. So now,
It's to it in June, and I'm close, and I am like, an hour.
So now I'm gonna go back to
on
that
the agenda so that it gets done.
And what he's got is he's got $1 million.
Because I'm
He's got
like.
$1 million.
What about other things to do?
Property. He's trying to sell it to us, or he's only doing I think he would want
I already bought it, it's online, it's sitting there, it's like half done, I haven't finished it. Yeah.
I think our calendar, very similar.
that's something
My
that's
calendar, for me, it's
That's
like.
something you have to do.
I get it. I got to be more aware of like my surroundings because like I'll get a call. Like
Just short term.
and then I see like cross it, they go.
Right now,
Like
a year.
Just like a year.
Like ever since I was this one.
Which I've been doing a lot better job at.
Yeah, and following up.
Yeah.
What
But I also get a lot of like,
Twice a year. Yeah.
calling questions, so it's like trying to figure out where my money best.
We won a quarter. I've got 2 more.
I would say no to it.
6 months kind of gets, so you're the expert in that, 6 months gets
I love
kind of
saying
far
that,
out.
but it doesn't get out.
Try to.
So what,
I mean, do an Airbnb.
well, and then you gotta pull that one from last one, and they talk to a friend and they're like, well, that's one, you say 6 months, that just sounds like a long time.
Oh, the drop has been.
Yeah, and so those.
Sure.
Some of our other
Like,
agents.
oh, I see
So
it.
they'll see my-
We're not gonna
So you need the next
You
one.
have,
Like, more frequently asked questions, like, do material list, and then it's more something.
I want to qualify.
So, yeah, I do. Hang it out in the cloud.
That's good.
I needed to do
That's
something.
gonna be a problem.
And so I started driving.
Once you start asking questions, it triggers a question, and 3 other people are
Right.
yeah.
And I make it very interactive, so they could
Probably.
Yeah.
I would say, well,
It's probably the nature that they are enjoying. They're not.
I mean, that being,
Oh, yeah, you're right, I know. Right.
So
It is hard, yeah, it is. They don't even know where to start. And they're, I was gonna say, they're
well, mine is kind of similar, guys, when they were kind of just getting away in January, so one thing I did.
I got to class this night, and I think that was a great class. So I have, continue to do my, I literally plan out my days, so I'm walking everything, and we know that my goals, that mindset, and not let my choice my other goal, which doesn't sound good, but for me, it very much ties into it, is I need to be better at
Yeah,
some to clear my head so that I can actually get work done.
Yeah,
So
well, I threw a lot
what
at
I
you.
want to do.
Does it have to be
I need to clear my head and yet at the same time, again, kind of in order to go through where I'm not saying I want to chasing rabbits. So I'm doing that, and then they're really enjoying it, which I did with my lab plan, because that has been so amazing. And so it really does. Yeah. So then it helps you with your attitude. Then it helps you with your time and all oh my gosh. For commission, for like the commission, oh, you can put your commissions in, and two or sometimes I print it, and it's gonna do all the taxes for you. I mean, not your, do your taxes, but it's gonna do it. So even though I will, I actually have to wait a lot of commission, so anyway, that's right. And that's right, and travel also, which probably, I actually just in Georgia, and that, and the other instructions that I right, like the referral is all about, but I have a real struggle with it, is that now making more friend costs. I do have a process where you're reducing myself with the letter, I still like that, but I am doing at it, and not looking at those names that I call them later, but I
Yeah, so no, like, I think do anything, you know, like, same thing.
They're starting to expire, they're in their runs, anything. And then listing, anything, but you know, there's still and I the last one, I need to get my attendance and then I need to be on it and make them all their sheets. And that's a few years ago. You know, and my marketing is the one of those the idea of we just got signed up. I need to but then what the population you know, a lot of these now I can't remember how much and I use the scan that I learned in Ignite, but I tweaked those into a letter.
Right.
So if they just mail, I try to give them a nice so we will, there's a lot of the vision is start to what about their. Oh yeah. On the road, I'm traveling. I'm like, okay, this is good. And you know, and then I just and I just got all signed up with most of this over, but it's just kind of flows into a new conversation.
Right, exactly.
They're all,
yeah.
And then I always like to go around.
I know that
that's no. And then she gave me that. I'm water now. I should just be really shady. Right. Oh, by the way, I've never done that before. Keep the line.
start off by saying.
Yeah.
And this one we did, yeah,
She actually
or,
was
or
talking
we did
about
that,
that,
you know, you would, oh, well, this is, I just put in all my.
Just write down.
Come to find out. Oh, well, it's
Whatever.
And I was told, we should check that out.
And then the other thing is, like, my friend, I was never ever, you know, and then I say, and I also, you know, where's like your construction on its own, I have a lot of background in that. And it would just be nice for us to have everybody, because it would not have been such a little change. Like, I'm not brain, when you're not insured to outside your house, and I'm going to, I don't own it. If I was to do it on the road, you're doing well, granted, and if you're increase my water, sure, I want something or whatever, I'm not allowed to have that. Now, like, you have this with the update. So,
No, I
like,
think
yeah, you might not,
You
yeah.
can't check,
Like,
yeah,
you-
but I don't know that.
People call back.
There's an
confused.
so that's so lucid.
Yeah.
That's right.
Good.
Like, oh,
Yeah, here's what I was gonna do.
where I live, there's 80 girls.
Everybody's got those shifts all the time, so that's the only one of those
They were
that
going to summer
So,
rentals.
like, sometimes she's working whatever.
How was I gonna know?
I have swing my
made
schedule
Oh.
So, I have
And for my
I mean,
area,
yeah,
and then,
So anyway, that's the problem, that we're gonna have just girls and girls and four of us on that one, and, it's not
But
that
kind of the same
one,
thing, you know.
family,
Yeah,
one,
blog,
wheels
they,
are turning on, that
it's
might
like
happen
half
by
a
the
year,
maybe if I want to.
I have a
By
blog
the end of the year.
where
Where I would be back in
how to get
market
they
rate.
dig in,
New
so then
builds
if
for
we start
different
getting
ideas.
sewer line, we got
My area, my area.
take the fence down between the front door.
Can I definitely?
So
That was so sweet, lady.
Anyway.
It's not a good thing. No, I'm not. So I need to set that time aside for myself and say, okay.
The Uber driving, learning their stuff, scratching nothing on the market.
Yeah, and so that's, I think a lot of people have sits down.
Some people say Rochester's too small, there's no activity. You know, some people say,
Whatever.
Oh, I know, really, it's like,
everything they do is they still pay.
and then I think I really did a really great job with laying out
And anything like, there's a whole list of, which is what I want, that's what I get.
to have somebody here tell you.
No, I don't have that. No more, no more. Use it.
So,
It's like.
I was gonna say that's gonna come down. I don't. You know, the hotels on Better, whatever, I'm using that. I don't get ready to get promoted by private.
No,
And taken care of by the public, and not subject to all the rules of the.
and you can translate that to your one time.
I mean, you know how it's all. Not only that, but it's not one of
She's-
them.
I mean,
And
we're
so,
so
they don't
It
make money. So when I.
And she's like, before I got my schedule together, what time do you want? And I was like, I'll do Tuesdays, and we'll start with that. And I can do football and make
All right.
time. And
Let's go ahead and bring it back to the group setting here. Okay. Correct. So other than the group in the back corner that completed everything 100%, we'll go last. Yeah, right.
Yeah, we got
So, well, let's go from group to group real quick, and I just want to hear, some of your ahas or some of the topics of your discussion, and then as a group collectively, we'll brainstorm about these three different subjects in general, and hopefully we can help each other out with all of our collective knowledge, thoughts, ideas, and creativity, okay? So with this group up here, what was some of your discussion centered around?
Oh, just, you know,
We talked about, a little bit about continuing ed, but mainly about,
what kind of short-term goals, right?
short-term goals.
Okay.
Little things like, taking some time out to start your day for yourself, just to
Okay.
get rejuvenated.
Okay, very good.
We talked about, reading a book on something, either motivational or, but industry related, but
Very
we
good.
want to find books that are, crazy simple, not this
Perfect. I have a
super tech.
recommendation for you guys today.
And then maybe also get those books that'd be worth even investing a little bit and putting them on the audiobook so you can combine your walk time
There you go.
with getting the reading time in.
Okay, awesome. So figuring out how we can continue to learn and maybe even be uber efficient with our time and combine it with our learning.
There you go.
Awesome, that sounds good. How about this group of 4 individuals back here?
Well, we focused a lot on our daily time blocks.
Okay.
Plans.
Is
And
there a reason you guys were drawn to that one?
I just asked everybody what they wanted to talk about.
Cool, yeah.
So, I just kind of shared what my day looks like. 5 a.m., 5:30, I'm getting up and I focus on getting all my kids out to where they need
Are you
to
like
be.
me, we're literally
It's like
between
8:30.
5 and 5:30, that's you getting up between hitting snooze and grabbing.
It is,
the
and then you're sitting there going through your gratitude and you're like, I don't have problems. And, you're just like, you're just gearing your.
Usually I say I'm
mind
gonna
up.
go back to sleep so I don't have to deal with my problems.
No, I don't have problems. So 8:30, then 8:30 to 9, I just kind of look at my business and like, who do I need to get back to so it doesn't hang over my head, or nobody gets mad at me, for a half an hour. And then 9 to 11 is really focused on lead gen. And I like to say that I do that 5 days a week, but I do that about 3 days a week, Monday through Wednesday. Thursdays, I just have a heavy kid day for me.
I would say every day is a heavy kid day for me.
Well, Thursdays is mainly on me and I don't have very much help.
Gotcha.
So, and that's my choice.
Cool.
So that's awesome. And,
How about anybody else, any thoughts, takeaways?
I would say, people have different habits, like,
Mhm.
my brain doesn't start working until 10, so I take the time in the morning to organize, and then I'll start making my calls, once I'm organized, somewhere here, like have fires put out,
Sure.
and then I'll start calling people.
You're fortunate that your brain's functioning by 10 a.m. I'm just throwing that out.
So between 8 and 10 is a great time to get a good deal.
Yeah, get it right.
If you want to push numbers.
I can see that. Sounds good. How about from this group over here? General points of discussion.
For which topic?
Any of them, any of them.
Well, we talked about time blocking. If you don't have to do your 2 or 3 hours, just do a little bit of time blocking. Read books. I talked about Millionaire Real Estate Agent. Read that again. Read it before, read it again. The One Thing. So when I get here, I focus on the one thing that's most important for the day, get that out of the way, that everything else falls into place.
Perfect, Jim. That's going to be a good segue for a topic in a little bit.
Some people had wanted to get their offices in order and get more organized, daily plans. What else would you say?
We just need to kind of pick 2 things that we're going to focus on growth-wise.
We'll get to those in a minute. Have you guys ever heard of the phrase, getting ready to get ready? Right? This is something that I've been guilty of. I think I still probably am on occasion. But oftentimes when we're looking at our daily schedule, and we're doing our time blocking, and we're coming up with our growth plan, and we're looking at our business in general, or what we need to do for the day, it's sometimes a little bit easier for us to spend time getting ready to get ready. Well, let me organize this. Well, then I should probably organize this and check this and do this and do this. And what are we really doing?
Procrastinating.
Yeah, we're procrastinating and we're avoiding. Oftentimes it's subconscious. We don't even know we're doing it. But the more you become self-aware about it, like I can like now sometimes I'm like, oh, all I'm doing right now is avoiding doing what it is I need to do. So why don't I just do that, right? So be aware of this. I think this hits agents a lot. Sometimes it's more fun for us to get ready than to actually do what it is that we would desire to do or need to do. How about these guys up here? Any things in general? By the way, I'm not saying don't plan.
We got sidetracked on city infrastructure.
Okay, so we're gonna go ahead and really focus on our daily schedules. But seriously, something had to be a topic of discussion related to these three things.
Well, I think a couple of us had said what we really need is to focus on just doing something. So my big thing was, if I could just figure out how to do something.
Yeah.
By 7:30 in the morning, whether it's just get the coffee started by 7:30, get the dog out by 7:30,
Sure.
in the shower by 7, something, instead of just, because I can let them done read a book until I absolutely have to get up, and I need to quit doing that. So.
Right, I've done that before. So Megan, for you specifically, it's this.
Yeah.
It's coming up with whatever habit you want to form at 7:30 a.m. Write it down, and then from each day forward, mark when you get up and do it at 7:30. Because from the one thing, Jim, if anybody remembers, how many days in a row do you need to do something before you actually form it as a habit based on research?
66.
66 days, right? 66 days. 33 is a good start, but 66 days will formalize that habit. That's the purpose of this. If we can get you to do it for at least a month, we know you're going to do a pretty good job of laying the foundation for forming that habit. That's why this tracker exists. Anything else from this group?
Well, I think just to go on that is that everybody does have a different schedule internally. And
right.
So I'm one of those 5 o'clock in the morning, and if you're not at 10 o'clock, but then by 5 o'clock at night, I'm done for the most part. You know, you have days where you can take it longer, but it's where you feel you can be the most productive. And so.
Back in college, 5 p.m., that's when I was just getting started.
There's a lot of people, I do a lot of business texting. You're not on the phone at that time, but you can do emails and text messages, and it is surprising how many people will be at 6 o'clock in the morning, you send a message out and they're back at you with the answer. So.
Yeah, I get a lot of text messages in the morning from a lot of people in this room. Actually, you know, yeah. So here's what I want to say. A couple of things. Regarding your growth plan, your calendar, your habits, it kind of hones in on what Michelle just said. They should not all look the same. It's okay if they don't. You have to do what works for you, right? The minute that you try to take your calendar and your lifestyle and have it fit somebody else's or what somebody else thinks it should fit, that's just, you're kind of almost setting yourself up for failure, right? So do what works for you. Now, the research suggests that your energy is highest when? In the morning, which means your willpower is also highest when? In the morning. That's why the book, The One Thing, will say you need to knock out your lead generation first thing in the morning, because we know the later and later that it goes on in the day, to Michelle's point, the kind of more exhausted you become, or the busier you get because things come up, right? Are you more pestered? Typically, on average, do you feel like you get pestered more in the morning or in the afternoon? In the afternoon. So if you're wanting to do what's most important, you would do it in the morning when your willpower and energy are high and your chances of being interrupted are less, right? Versus the afternoon. So just keep that in mind. So now we're going to talk in general. What were some things that people came up with for their growth plan between now and the end of 2018, besides things like Mega Camp, right? That takes place in August or September. That would be an awesome thing to go to. What else? I heard some books out there.
Has anyone done or heard of Perk Your Sphere?
No.
New KW book out.
Cool.
Perk Your Sphere. It's like $10 on Amazon.
What's it called?
Perk Your Sphere.
Perk?
Yep. So I just got it. I haven't done anything but read the first couple pages, but I'm super excited and it came highly recommended.
Cool.
And it's basically creating a system for a Renko program.
Awesome. Yeah, I love it. So I would say, you know, a good goal would be, if the book thing is one of your things, is one a month. One a month. Start there. Build that as a habit. And maybe it's Audible. So I listen to a lot of podcasts and books on my drive each day. That's how I know people are knock them out. What else for a growth plan? By the way, it doesn't have to be just business. It can be personal too. Yes, Jim.
Get help is one of the things. Hire assistants, hire.
Okay, that's part of your growth plan. So maybe it's you know, education and training focused on helping you find and hire talent. What else?
Chamber of Commerce events.
Okay.
Or networking.
So what I would recommend that you do, and obviously we just scratched the surface on some of this. So when we talk about events, networking, education, training, is get specific figure out which training, which event, which networking activity you're gonna do, and then book it in that month for the year, and then get it on your calendar and do it. For example, I heard Megan say, you know, well, part of my growth plan for April is win with sellers. Great, boom, that's on in April. Any of the remaining training that we have going on between now and the end of the year, those events can be selected and boom, thrown on that calendar, right? We could look ahead to, you know, third, fourth quarter and say, hey, part of my growth plan is toward the end of the year to take bold again, right? That's gonna be part of my growth plan for the year, something like that. So build that out. Now I'd be curious to see what you guys come up with growth plan wise, you know, over the next few days for the remainder of 2018. When you complete that document, either frame it, tape it to the wall, or put it right on your desk so that you see it daily. Because the worst thing you can do is what I typically do, which is fill this out and then it stays in my bold binder or just gets buried somewhere. You never revisit it, right? So when you take the time to build this thing out, put it somewhere visible that you're gonna see it daily and remind yourself of what your growth plan is. As a matter of fact, once you build it, go into your Gmail calendar and, you know, plug it into your calendar so it's there, right? So you can start planning for it. Okay, calendar and habits. I want to talk about this real quick, which is kind of what Nellie talked about. Is I've become a believer of building in some time in the morning and building the habit of having a portion of your morning be a time for you just to kind of, you know, get a baseline, do affirmations, whatever you need to do to kind of calm down when you first wake up. Because if you're anything like me, you know, my routine has always been, you know, wake up and then boom, it's just immediately in the shower, getting ready for the day, then you're out the door, and I have breakfast, right? So for me, part of my thing is I want to build a habit and schedule time in the morning where I have, you know, 15, 20 minutes maybe only just to just kind of calm, relax. I did it this morning. It was really nice. I was downstairs in the kitchen. I threw up my iPad and I just caught up on stuff, right? And before I left for the day, I already felt, you know, a little bit more relaxed. I was kind of a little bit ahead of the curve. I did some of my follow-up. I've done some of my catch-up. It's okay, right? You all right back there?
I thought you said you
I
threw
said
up.
something like you said, I threw up in my.
I threw open. Yeah, I did wipe off some throw up off my leg. So to be honest with you, from in the morning. But what else can we be doing calendar-wise? What did you?
Family vacation.
Okay, that's part of your growth plan too. So in general, though, when it comes to your daily calendar, what were some takeaways or some thoughts or some things you intend to do?
Take a vacation every day.
Jim, a day with you is a vacation.
I
Habits?
just think the calendar is hard because people, I mean, clients come up and there are certain days they can meet, and your calendar just has to be fluid.
So I appreciate you saying this because
And maybe that's just me who
I
doesn't
want
like
to,
to feel
I want to
hemmed
play
in.
devil's advocate with you on that a little bit, Karen, and just know that I don't disagree with you.
You disagree with me.
Well, good, because I often do. Just kidding. But here's what I'll say, and this gets back to why the morning is so important. And this gets, so I was gonna do this in a little bit, but I'll read at least one of them right now. These were some thoughts I had from yesterday's session with Bold. And a couple things. There's no such thing as a time management problem. It's a clarity problem. There's never enough time for everything, but there's always enough time for what matters. Show me your calendar and I'll show you your priorities. Who's filling your calendar? Is it you or someone else? Same goes for your mailbox, for your email inbox, by the way. It's not the hours you put in, it's what you put in the hours. Procrastination is the opposite of being bold. It's being immobilized. So when it comes to time management and our calendars, it is a conscious decision, right? Now that being said, obviously life happens. Those of us with family members and kids and stuff, no, life happens. With business, life happens. But what I also know is if you truly are unapologetic about your schedule and you manage it, then it's easier to think to control it. Success is simple, not easy. Managing your calendar is simple, but not easy. One of the changes in my business that I experienced was the first couple of years of my business, it was if you called me, I jumped. You want to go see what, where? I'll be there. I don't even know who you are. You could be, you know, wanted for murder. I don't have time to check. I'm going to meet you at a property and I'll show it to you, right? What I realized is I need to have, I need, people will work within my calendar if I give them the opportunity to, right? So instead of Beth calling and saying, Zach, I just saw this property, let's go see it immediately. I can say, great, that's awesome, Beth. Today I happen to be booked, but I can do it right away tomorrow at 3. Does that work for you? What do you think she's typically going to say?
Okay.
She's probably going to say, that's fine, right? So give yourself permission to do that. Protect your morning, make all the progress you need to in the morning, and then leave your afternoon open for that flexibility, that random stuff, and the appointments that you need to be setting. Right? How many of you have ever set a buyer consultation or a listing appointment at 9 or 10 a.m.? Yeah. Raise your hand if it was like a one-off type thing, or if you do it regularly, right? Not very many, right? So not many appointments are coming up in the morning, so knock everything out then while you can, and then leave your afternoon for some of that flexibility, you know, stuff that comes up. Or, oh, by the way, if you're done by noon, go home for the day. Relax, catch up on what you need to at home, spend time with the family. I'm not telling you anything you don't already know. It's just a matter of putting it into practice, right? So I'll leave our discussion there. But when it comes to that calendar, create what your ideal calendar looks like, and then start building habits and taking steps toward making it a reality, right? Because we've all done this practice before, and we've come up with the most beautiful looking calendar, and it was nowhere near a representation of reality. That's fine. It's a baby step toward making it a reality. Or maybe you create it and you realize, hey, this doesn't quite work, and you make some adjustments, and you make the adjustment. Maybe my lead generation does need to be from 1 to 3, because getting out of the house in the morning just isn't feasible. I prefer to work out in the morning, or vice versa, right? But spend some time on this, because some of the most successful people and the people that are really crushing it in any of their respective industries, they live by their calendar, and they control it. Okay. So I was going to transition at this point to talk a little bit about some things I took away from yesterday. So I'll do that, and then I'll maybe revisit some of the ones I just talked about. I had a pretty good takeaway from the Bold coach yesterday, who said this: the 2 enemies of momentum are, Aaron, do you remember what he said? The 2 enemies of momentum are ego and overwhelm. No worries. The 2 enemies of momentum are ego and overwhelm. This one I thought was good. It's a different take on one of the Bold laws. Don't compare your behind the scenes to other people's highlight reel. And I think sometimes that relates directly back to our calendar and our habits, right? Don't, oh, see, you like it. Just kidding. Don't compare your behind the scenes to other people's highlight reels. And this spawned a thought for me, which was quit comparing and start understanding. Quit comparing and start understanding. Quit comparing yourself to an agent who's seeing something else in their business. Instead of comparing, ask yourself and try to understand, what is it that they're doing that's getting them the results that you're not doing, or that you could do to get similar results, right? Oh, I'm just not good enough. I just can't do this. I just have more people. No, what you need to do is understand how they're achieving that success. Then ask yourself if it makes sense in your business as well. You can determine how you're hardwired. It comes through the habits that you build and the affirmations that you tell yourself. Are there both positive and negative affirmations? Absolutely.
Yes.
Absolutely. And who controls your affirmations? You do. So whether they're positive or negative, they're ultimately of your control, so you can change it if you want to. Experience is good only if reflected upon. Name your lead generation time something exciting on your calendar so it motivates you to do it and it ties to your big why. The power of journaling was reiterated for me. This was interesting. I just wrote it down because I felt like it resonated with some people in the room when he said it, so I thought I would share it. He said, hurting people hurt people. Hurting people hurt people, which is a reminder just to take care of yourself and be cognizant of what you bring home sometimes. Amateurs practice until they can't, amateurs practice until they can get it right. Professionals practice until they can't get it wrong. That's what your growth plan is all about. Because if we stop growing, are we really performing at the highest level? Amateurs practice until they can get it right. Professionals practice until they can't get it wrong. Clarity leads to focus, and focus leads to results. Achievers plan their work, and they work their plan. That's all about your calendar. Achievers plan their work, and they work their plan. Make purposeful contacts. Don't just make a contact for the sake of making a contact. Make it purposeful. Winners do what's goal achieving. And then Jim, you hit on a huge one. He shared a story about Carnegie. And back in the day, Carnegie, who was a big steel baron back in the day, had a gentleman come to his office and say, hey, here's the deal. What I'd love to do is just visit your operation for 30 days, come up with maybe 1 or 2 suggestions, and then you can implement it in your firm. And if you feel that it's helpful for you, I'd love to be compensated whatever you think it's worth. The guy followed him, visited his shop for an entire 30 days, came back to Carnegie and said, here's the deal. My recommendation for you and your employees and your business is that every day they do this. They come up with their 5 priorities. And before they move on to priority 2, they complete priority 1. Before they move on to priority 3, they complete priority 2. Basically, each day they come up with their 5 priorities and they do them in order to completion before they go to the next one. Carnegie said, you're crazy, you're nuts, what a waste of time, get out of here. Implemented the idea instead, anyway, had tremendous results in his business, called the guy back and paid him $100 grand, which back in the day was probably at least a couple million for that one idea. So to Jim's point, and as you're doing your calendar and thinking about what you're doing each day, my question to you would be, what are your 5 priorities today? And I usually like to ask people, what's your one thing today? But I think maybe a powerful way to think about it is each day, what are your 5 priorities? They can vary. And then what's your one thing for the week? And are you being uncompromising when it comes to those? Sometimes it's helpful to sprint, recover, and repeat. Right? Sometimes it's you come in, you work it hard, you hit everything that you can, you go full speed, and then you take some time to relax before you get back at it again. If you're not consistent, you're non-existent. That might become the mantra in my business. If you're not consistent, you're non-existent. Because that, I think, kind of sums up real estate in general. If you're not consistent with your people, your database, your referrals, your marketing, your lead generation, your advertising, then you might as well not exist and be in the business, because who's going to even know about you, right? So now I'm going to talk about a book that I'm going to give out, and I'll wrap up here in a couple minutes and over a little bit over time. So for those of you that brought up books and you're thinking about your growth plan, the book recommendation I would give you is one that the ALC just spent time reading this last month, and it's The Millionaire Next Door. The Millionaire Next Door. It's an absolutely phenomenal book, and it actually impacted me and changed my way of thinking in ways I didn't anticipate before reading the book.
Yeah.
I'll have to look that up for you, Leanne. And so journaling is, I'm trying to recommit to it, or I am recommitting to it, so I have a note here to take some time to reflect on it. And a couple of things that I took away was, raising my kids with the right mindset and view of wealth, coming up with a personal investing strategy. I loved this phrase from the book. They said, some affluent parents' advice to their child was this: don't chase money, chase being the best you can in your profession/field, and the money will find you. Don't chase money, chase being the best, and the money will find you. That was kind of an aha moment for me. I thought, how can I apply that to my business? My quick thoughts on it. The book helped me realize the power of investing consistently and over time. My takeaway was I should pool my monthly secondary income sources and invest them regularly instead of holding and waiting. Then use the remaining capital to invest in businesses and real estate investments. This will help me diversify and build wealth over time. And the power of budgeting can't be ignored. So for me personally, too often I've just kind of, I've taken whatever money's there and I just kind of sits there and just waiting for that golden opportunity, right? I'm just gonna wait for that opportunity. I found out, I just keep waiting, right? It gets back to getting to get ready. Well, I'm getting ready to get ready, right? I've got this money set aside and I'm just waiting for an opportunity, but I'm also super busy, so finding that opportunity, and it takes a lot of time, right? And so the aha for me was most millionaires in the United States, they don't get wealthy overnight. They don't get wealthy because they inherited money. They don't get wealthy because they had one or two great opportunities or huge wins. They're wealthy because slowly but steadily over time they've been investing, and that's been compounding and accumulating. And so the sooner that I can just start doing that regularly and consistently, the better I'll be setting myself up, because that money needs to start working for me now. It doesn't do me any good if it's just sitting somewhere waiting for an opportunity. So that would be a book I recommend for you.
It's by Thomas Stanley.
Why, thank you. Any questions, thoughts, or ahas as we wind up? Cool. I appreciate it, guys. Baby shower takes place from now to 12:30, and the ALC meeting starts up at 12:30. Thanks, everybody. Appreciate it.
Thank you.